So I've put in a good amount of time into Foxhole in the month or so I've had the game. I mean, a lot of time. I really do feel like Foxhole is the game that just keeps on giving. You could put in hundreds of hours just running around the front line, testing all the guns out and other such things that the game has on offer for you, only to then find when you get bored that there's an entire new mechanic to the game that you haven't even dipped your toe in. For me today, it was artillery. Now, I'd seen people using artillery, of course. However, I'd never really gotten around to partaking myself, but that was about to change. With my fellow players in Umbrella, we set up a scenario where we would shell the enemy relentlessly for over an hour. Codenamed Operation Steel Rain, I got to get my first taste of what it was like to do to the enemy what they had been doing to me for God knows how long during the last war. We would move up our guns into Marvin Hollow to the town of Lockheed, place them onto the bridge above the breakers, and shell an enemy bunker base on the other side of the bridge until it collapsed or their morale did. Starting off, it took a few minutes to set up. This was no quick and go process. We had to get the guns in place, get the ammo the guns would use in place, and maintain some kind of system to make sure that they kept firing nonstop. This is where I would say the greatest strength and perhaps the greatest weakness comes into play when we're talking about Foxhole. Let me explain. See, as I'd mentioned before, Foxhole is a very different kind of game to your traditional shooters. There's no kill feed, no kill streaks, and in general, no immediate way of knowing whether or not your actions are really affecting the war. We spend a good portion of our operations simply loading shells into our artillery pieces. I think for a lot of people, this really ain't it. A lot of people have been conditioned to expect being drip-fed dopamine with everything they do in games. Get a kill? Boom! Flashy colors and sound effects. Get multiple kills in a row? Bang! Here's a reward of some kind. Remember to wipe your ass after taking a dump? Here's something to trigger that part of your brain that makes the happy juice start flowing. Foxhole, however, has very little of that. However, if you are the kind of person who enjoys the idea of collective engagement, the idea that many parts all moving in unison is what's going to win the war, then the idea of that probably doesn't bother you all that much. I mean, I know that when I sat there loading those field guns for, 30, 40 minutes, I didn't really bat an eye. One thing I really do have to give credit to Foxhole is its ability to build community. Now, I know it sounds terrifying, but the truth is you have to communicate with the people around you. The awesome part of this to me is its ability to do this without the player really feeling put upon. What I mean by this is I've played more World of Warcraft than most people would care to admit, including myself. And a major talking point for that game that makes its rounds on Reddit and other places every once in a while is how the game has lost its sense of community, which in truth is what caused many players to fall in love with the game in the first place. Sure, Blizzard often makes attempts to revitalize that long extinct aspect of the game, but it just ends up feeling more like a chore, something you're forced to do, and less like something that players are willingly choosing to engage with. In Foxhole, communication is key, and it helps that you feel like you need to do so somewhat like this.
Yep, Azimuth 288.
No.
Azimuth 288, distance 210.
Você fala em português, mano?
Eu falo Nick.
Ah, muito bom, mano.
Tu falas inglês?
Just a little.
What are you aiming? Guns.
Yeah, rounds are out.
What hit? What are you hitting?
I have no idea.
Ele tá pedindo onde é que nós estamos mirando.
Just fucking down. But you guys are hitting
Digga?
low health targets.
Now, sure, sometimes when people are speaking multiple languages, it can make it difficult to effectively coordinate. But give AI some time, and I'm sure in a couple of years, every game will have a built-in auto translation feature for both text and audio. Getting back to the topic at hand, after firing for some time, we ran into our first and truthfully only real resistance of the operation: howitzers. See, bases in this game have these lovely things called howitzer garrisons. These are essentially unmanned AI-controlled defenses for the base in question. If you are unfortunate enough to hit one of them with your artillery, because artillery does have a certain RNG about where the shell will actually land after you fire, then you will receive return fire so spiteful you'd think you accidentally unblocked your X. This, of course, can be offset by repairing any damage done by them. You do, however, have to hope and pray that you don't catch a hot one while doing so. As the night wore on, I made my way further to the front so that I could spot. This again circles back to the first point I was making before my brain short-circuited and I began talking in said circles. Spotters are exactly as the name implies. They spot stuff to destroy, and the person manning the artillery pieces makes stuff go boom. It is a bit more complicated than that, because the spotter's job is to feed information to the gunner, things like distance and degree, or azimuth as it's known in this game. They then check to see where the rounds are actually landing and help with course corrections due to things like wind velocity, etc., etc. Much like the loader, the spotter doesn't seem like a super sexy job. There is no damage numbers for them, but without them, the gunner might as well just throw a dart on the board, close their eyes, and bite their lip every time they fire. I will say, as someone who makes YouTube content, the spotter position for me is probably the best for filming, mostly because it allows me to show you, my beloved viewer, the carnage actually happening rather than 15 to 20 minutes of me pacing back and forth with big bullets slung over my shoulder.
And Titus, please, for the love of God, keep those binocs in you. I don't have any more.
Yeah, sure thing. Actually, Chris, do you want to can you grab a crate of binocs? Do we even have any?
Yeah, we got 3.
Yeah.
I'll put one in the bunker.
Here, I'll come make sure I get them because they fly off like hotcakes. So.
Okay, I'm bringing the truck of ammo. Binos are in the bunker.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, it's one thing hearing about the damage, another thing witnessing it yourself. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, like before it was a complete wall of fortifications, but since we were like shooting it,
What we really should be doing is we should all be in Discord, and I should be screen sharing as I'm doing it.
shoot.
I apologize for not doing that. My
Fine.
Discord. Actually, have Titus do that. If Titus can do that, well, he's up here.
We're firing. Hit you, Gary, down.
Yep, you're hitting the bunker base. Ooh, good shots.
I'm about to say I'm sharing my screen now on the Discord.
Yeah, return RD.
That howitzer is looking pretty damaged. If you let me see.
Yeah,
Do we
should
want?
just have him?
Yeah, let's just
shift
have him
the
take that out. Shift the azimuth 15 down. I'm sorry, I've never done this before.
Not 15. Not 15. Do like 5 down. Or not 5. 3.
280.
Yep. Do it. Fire. Keep firing there.
Firing.
Ooh, those rounds are landing short.
Yeah, take up the distance by 1. Ah, never mind. Just keep going there. Take it up by 1. Yeah, take it up by 1.
Okay, so 2-4.
I have this car here ready to go once we break
that 8C.
direct hit.
I thought he was spotting.
Nice.
I thought he was spotting me too.
Did they just take out the howitzer?
I think
you
they
guys just took
did,
out the
yeah.
howitzer? Yes, let's go. Okay.
I would, of course, get to shoot the gun itself. This is probably the coolest, and I am using air quotes here, position in an artillery team. That's because Foxhole does track the damage you do to, say, enemy structures or enemies in general. So being in this position, you do get to see number go up. Of course, everyone plays their role and they all matter. The loader makes sure that when I pull the trigger, gun go bang, and the spotter makes sure I'm banging the enemy and not my own team.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
After firing our guns for a little over an hour, all good things must, of course, come to an end. In this case, that was our ammo reserves. So we put the guns away and faffed around a bit as infantry.
I kind of like how Foxhole isn't like, it has enough players to feel like alive and like the community is very active, but it's not like super mainstream, you know? So it kind of feels like your own little thing. I don't know if anybody else is getting more fun on this.
It's fun telling people
Yeah.
about the game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like World of Warcraft or something. World of Warcraft, good game, but it's not like that. We're like, oh, it's like a global, you know, and everybody knows about it and talks about it or whatever. Like this is just kind of like our thing.
Oh my god, 2 times. 2 times. 2 times.
Yeah, like, such a small niche group of fans. Like concurrent players is usually like 3,000 to 5,000, with maybe like 10,000 at war start. You know, compare that to multi shooters.
Blow that
that get
logic
hundreds
truck,
of
blow the
thousands
logic
at a time.
At this point, the operation had already been going on for quite a few hours. So I really only ran infantry for a couple of lives, maybe for another hour or so. And then I decided to call it a night. Anyway, guys, that's been all for me today. Now, if you liked the video, please like, comment, subscribe, all that fancy YouTube stuff. It really does help me, the channel, and it lets me know what you guys think about this current little stint of content that I'm doing. We're also trying to maintain our stream schedule, though it has been somewhat difficult having life things, you know, take precedence sometimes. But we're still trying to do that Thursday through Saturday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard to about 12 p.m. Pacific Standard right here on YouTube, although we are thinking about maybe trying Twitch. So anyway, guys, that's all for me and for the video. So until next time, now I'll see you.
Did they just take out the howitzer?
I think
you
they
guys just
did,
took out the
yeah.
howitzer? Yes, let's go. Okay.
Anyone hear me? Hello?
Tick up the azimuth by like 1 and just